April 9th, 2025. Glad to have you here. Whew, Market Mania. That's what this is entitled. There's a lot of market mania going on today. I think one of the best days ever on Wall Street, definitely point-wise. You know, the last week has been really tough on a lot of people. There are a lot of the global financial crisis type of feels to things. And so I think we're now starting to get an idea of what exactly Mr. President was doing, why he was doing it, what he was doing, what was the point, what was the reason, what was it behind all this? Well, I think we've got an idea of what was going on, and as a lot of people are starting to figure out, let's get a frog in my throat. Let's get China off our minds. No. He was definitely attacking and going after China. So that is where we're at right now. He undid a lot of the tariffs. He's doing a 90-day pause. I think most of them are going to be stayed at 10%, but much better than what some of the other levels were at. But China, he basically sunk his teeth into and is going after him. And they're going after us. But as we're seeing in this economic war, and it really is, let's be honest, this is an economic war that is going on. He is using the full spectrum dominance, he's just going after China. He's going after him, and he's doing everything he can to kick him in the stomach and kick him hard, because they are down. They have had a lot of problems lately. If you know anything that's going on with their monetary stuff, it is called By Any Means Possible, loosely translated from Chinese, because they're having problems. And as you're going to see, there's a lot of things that are really going wrong in the Chinese economy. And I think Mr. Trump is now seeing this, and he's saying, hey, let's go after him. Let's really go in for the good kicking. So I wouldn't say the final blow, but he's definitely trying to go after him. He's definitely setting the precedent. Now the problem is that your cheap Chinese crap is going to get more expensive for a little while. I'm going to have some thoughts and everything about that. But the good news is that the rest of the stuff is kind of starting to chill out and mellow out. And if you were in the markets and playing them and bought the dip, you did a wise thing. I think, I don't know, we'll talk about it. I got all the numbers and everything else where everything is. So we shall see. All right, on that note, friends, hit the buttons and stuff. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Share this out. All the things. Sorry it's a little bit later, but I won't get into it. We had a very busy night, but we are here. We were able to get it done, and we were able to get it out at a quasi-normal time. So this is your crisis report for April 9th, 2025. Whoosh. Let's do it. Offshore yuan in circulation outside mainland China hits a historic low, showing problems in the Chinese economy. Trump on tariffs before all this, just before. Real quick. These countries are calling us up, kissing my ass, and they're dying to make a deal. Trump says that China has ripped us off left and right, but now it's our turn to do the ripping. That's really what's going on. El Salvador is now viewed safer to visit than France by the United States. I really just want to go and see Europe before it completely gets crushed. I am scheduled to be there in June. We're starting to really have some serious second thoughts, because I'm worried I'm going to go over there and I'm going to get in trouble. So we're just thinking about all this. We're trying to think of a way to figure everything out. But yeah, I don't know. We're talking about that. I want to go. I want to see it before it gets any crazier. But when El Salvador is now viewed as a safer country than the country of France, you've got major problems going on. And I don't know. I don't even know if Europe is going to be recognizable here in a year or two. So Chevron is going to lay off 600 workers in California as it's prepared corporate move to Texas. Why is it moving from California to Texas? That's right, because, well, California is not a sound business environment for major companies. U.S. intelligence agency has warned China is trying to recruit government employees. Japan's Nikkei was down 3.9% at close, but this is going to change and all. This is before all the Trump moves. Russia says that President Trump's tariffs show disregard for international trade norms. Bank of England has warned on United Kingdom financial stability amid all of the tariffs that are going on. China has raised tariffs on the United States goods to 84% per CNBC. That will go up from there. Trump has urged firms to move to U.S. now to avoid tariffs. JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon has predicted a U.S. recession in the likely outcome to all this. We shall see now that there's been a bit of a turn of events. Wall Street has grown for decades. Now Main Street's turn. That's according to Secretary Bessent. President Trump says, be cool, everything's going to work out. Well, the USA will be stronger and better than ever before. China has warned tourists to fully assess risks before traveling to the United States. Why? Because you'll come here and you want to live here because it's a great place? America's a great place. There's bad parts, but it's a great place. Great people. Iraq signed a deal with the United States firm to produce 24,000 megawatts of electricity. President Trump's pick to head the NASA says he will prioritize sending astronauts to Mars. New York public school system has told the Trump administration that they won't comply with the DEI order, and they never got federal funding again. New York public schools they're not doing it. Had to say it twice. They're not complying with the DEI order to get rid of it. They're going to DEI it up. Kevin O'Leary has called for a 400% increase on tariffs against China. United States says it has denied visas and green cards over social media posts. We're going to get more into that. I got a little freaked out when I read that one earlier. President Trump has announced a 90-day pause on tariffs for all countries except China, whose tariffs will be raised to 125%. I mean, he is going after them. Trump says that raising China tariffs to 125%, he says a 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs for all but China. United States stocks surged as Trump suspended tariffs on countries except China. I mean, that is a Moab on the Chinese economy, a mother of all bombs. I mean, that is big. U.S. stocks have skyrocketed. NASDAQ was 100 up more than 10%, biggest gain since October of 2008. France could recognize a Palestinian state in June, according to Macron. United States-China tariff war could reduce trade between the two by 80%, according to the World Trade Organization chief. Bill Ackman praised President Trump, calling the tariffs move brilliantly executed, describing it as a textbook out of the deal, baby, and thanking him on behalf of all Americans. Because a day ago, he's saying, man, you better slow your roll. This is going to start to get out of hand. Goldman Sachs rescinds the recession call after Trump's tariff pause. United States President Donald Trump says trade deals will be made with all countries, including China, but said he did not think Beijing was ready yet, so he's applying the pressure. United States Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has floated the idea of United States troops returning to Panama to secure its strategically vital canal. S&P 500 has soared 9.5% to one of its biggest gains since World War II after Trump paused the tariffs on most of the nations. Precautionary search is underway after a beeping sound was heard in the cargo hold of a Frontier Flight 4708 upon its arrival from Atlanta at Dulles, according to the airline. Apple has had its best day since 1998 on Trump's 90-day tariff pause. Rally added more than $400 billion to Apple's market cap, which now stands just under $3 trillion. Reuters says that senior U.S. military officials have landed in Tel Aviv in recent hours for, quote, very important consultations. A report in the British Times says, as the U.S. seeks an agreement with it, Iran has, for the first time, provided long-range missile stockpiles to Shiite militias in Iraq. British Times reports that Iran has provided its proxy forces in Iraq with new missile stockpiles, including various types of long-range missiles capable of reaching Europe, thereby increasing the Iranian regime's military footprint in the region, despite President Trump's threats to exact a price from Iran for its militias' actions. According to the report in the Times, the weapons shipments were delivered to Shiite militias in Iraq last week by the Iranian Air Force, and this is the first time that missiles of this type are in the hands of Shiite militias in Iraq. Indonesia has announced that they are ready to take in Palestinians affected by the war in Gaza. Trump's plan is coming to fruition? Question mark. According to reports in Yemen, the United States military carried out the most powerful attacks since the beginning of the operation last night, with an emphasis on ammunition depots hidden in the mountains east of Sana'a. Senior Hezbollah official in an interview with Reuters says the organization would be willing to discuss disarming and transferring its weapons to the Lebanese army on the condition that Israel fully fully withdraws from Lebanese territory and ceases its attacks. And I say, don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth from Amir Sarfati. Indonesia is ready to shelter Gazans. President Prabowo Subianto instructed his foreign ministry to discuss with the Palestinian side how to evacuate the first wave of the 1,000 Gazans to Indonesia. Arab reports in an IDF attack on Shajaya this morning, Haitham al-Sheikh, the current Hamas commander of Shajaya, was killed. China's finance ministry announces an additional 84% tariff on the United States goods. Full-on trade war. As Gerald Salent said, and we said here before, trade wars become world wars. China's finance ministry, 84% tariff on U.S. goods. IDF has revealed that Hezbollah is trying to rebuild an underground weapons facility in Beirut, Dakhia neighborhood previously dismantled by the IAF. Israel calls it a serious violation of the ceasefire. Trump, if military intervention against Iran is necessary, we will do it. And Israel will be very much involved with that. It will be the leader of that, he said. During the meeting at the White House, the Israeli Prime Minister reviewed that President Trump's Turkey's intention. I'll try that again. During their meeting at the White House, this is why commas are important. The Israeli Prime Minister reviewed with President Trump Turkey's intentions to establish military bases in Syria. Now, that should be a period there. He said that Israel does not seek conflict with Turkey, but will not hesitate to act if necessary to defend itself. Prime Minister said that he would ask Trump for assistance if necessary due to his close relationship with Erdogan. Now, that would be the kind of sentence I would return back to the student and say, we need to redo this and learn about commas. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan confirms Turkey and Israel are holding technical talks to create a channel to prevent conflicts in Syria. U.S. Senate has officially confirmed Mike Huckabee as the next U.S. ambassador to Israel. White House, 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico will remain in effect. President Trump, quote, with Iran, yes, if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that and the leader of that, end quote. In a heartbreaking incident that has captured national attention, a father has chosen an extraordinary path of forgiveness following the death of his 17-year-old son, who was fatally stabbed during a high school track meet. This is the big story sweeping the nation, and a story of how Christianity actually is a good thing in the most terrible of events. That event, which unfolded in Frisco, Texas, has been covered extensively by various news outlets, shining light on both the tragedy and the father's profound response. According to CBN News, the incident occurred during an argument over a seat at a track meet, escalating into a violent confrontation that left 17-year-old Austin, a high-achieving student with a 4.0 GPA, dead from a stab wound straight to the heart. Father's response, however, has become the focal point of this story. As reported by CBN News April 3rd, he expressed immediate forgiveness toward the student responsible for his son's death. Quote, I have already forgiven him already. God takes care of things. God takes care of me. God's going to take care of my family, the father told the outlet. He emphasized that this act of forgiveness was for his own peace, not necessarily for the benefit of the attacker. His faith, he said, is guiding him through this unimaginable loss. And that, my friends, is what being Christ-like is all about. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the United States government is looking at, quote, regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems. Dividing the global economy into two blocks could lead to a long-term reduction in global GDP by almost 7%. That is according to the World Trade Organization chief. More than $3.5 trillion is out of the United States stock market after the tariff pause. That goes up, actually. Bad Bobber, thanks for being a member here. By the way, a couple bucks a month, keeps the lights on, keeps me going. If you take these videos that I go and I do every day and like work a lot of time on, like put a lot of my time into, they maybe now, according to the new policies of this fabulous platform, make about $4 or $5 a video. So I'm not doing it for money. But if you like what we're doing here and you think it's worth support, please consider becoming a member. If not, it's totally fine. It's tough out there. I get it. Hold on to your ducats. And thanks for being here. Donald Trump's approval rating amongst 18 to 29-year-olds has gone from +5 to -29. That's because they have an attention span of a friggin' border collie. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, quote, we have no intention to clash with any country in Syria, including Israel. Major company stocks after Trump's tariff shenanigans. Tesla, 13.5%. NVIDIA, 13%. Apple, +11%. Meta, +8.5%. Microsoft, +7.8%. Amazon, +7.5%. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan says Netanyahu is challenging the world with the resources of the United States. The U.S. must set Netanyahu straight. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said normalization with Israel will not happen until after there's a ceasefire in Gaza. Mr. Zelensky says that Russia is recruiting Chinese citizens via social media. We are ready to exchange the Chinese citizens we captured in return for Ukrainian servicemen held by Russia. Pretty crazy video of a Chinese soldier caught. Zelensky says that Ukraine is ready to buy a large package of U.S. weapons. Wow, you're going to pay for them. Nice, dude. Germany's Merz says Trump's tariff shift shows the benefits of the EU unity. Let's all set tariffs of 0% on transatlantic trade, and then the problem would be solved. Houthis released footage of the 18th U.S. Air Force MQ-9 Reaper drone, the UAV, shot down the skies over Yemen. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan says preparations are underway for a meeting between President Trump and Erdogan as soon as possible. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, IDF, is annexing new territories to Israel's buffer zone, leaving Gaza smaller. If Hamas does not release the hostages soon, the IDF will engage in intense fighting throughout the Gaza Strip. Italian Defense Minister Crosetto, a century of great democracies is over. Now's the time of the great powers. You like the juice? I get you more juice. Netanyahu says negotiations are underway with two large countries to absorb very large numbers of Gazans who will voluntarily emigrate. A big jump, 5.5 trillion in value, was out of the United States stock market today. S&P 500 soared 9.5%. NASDAQ 100 jumped 12%. iPhone prices could reach $3,500 if they're made in the U.S., according to CNN. They're going to be made in India. Trump signed an executive order aimed at rebuilding U.S. shipbuilding and reducing China's grip on the global shipping industry. Vladimir Putin's here, everybody. Good to see you, Vlad. Any way we can get you to sign that ceasefire and allow us to get the minerals deal done? I know it's on Zelensky too, but we appreciate you having you here, sir. I like and respect the Chinese President Xi Jinping very much, but China has never treated us properly, according to Trump. Trump also said, we may reduce our troop presence in Europe. It's one of the options we're considering. United States confirms another MQ-9 Reaper drone was shot down by the Houthis in Yemen. Russia is not Asia. That's actually Eurasia. It's both. The fourth since March 3rd and third since U.S. airstrikes began. Despite 25 days of bombing, Houthis keep downing U.S. drones. Each Reaper UAV costs about $32 million. Total MQ-9 UAV losses in Yemen, 18. Oof. Oh, Vlad disagrees. Okay, Vlad. Saudi Arabia has banned... Can you get Medvedev to come and hang out with us? Man, I love that guy. Have him give us some allegories and analogies of snakes and nuclear destruction. If snake has nuclear fart, destruction of mushroom cloud gets sauteed and put onto steak. Thank you, Mr. Medvedev. Saudi Arabia has banned all public displays of support for Palestine. Prince Mohammed bin Salman has stated that Palestinian cause is not my cause. I only care about my country and the people of my country. We will not waste time with radicalism. We will modernize rapidly. President Trump, on the confirmation of Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel, says he's going to be fantastic. He's going to bring home the bacon, even though bacon isn't too big in Israel. I had to clear that up. Congratulations to Mike Huckabee. Not a kosher answer. Department of Homeland Security just announced it will deny green cards, student visas, and other immigration benefits to any foreign national caught supporting Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, or anti-Semitic terrorism. Hamas has launched legal challenges demanding that the United Kingdom remove its terror designation. The 106-page legal application claimed that the 2021 decision pursued explicitly political objectives by a politically compromised Secretary of State. Trump says he will tap the Defense Production Act to boost coal production in the United States. If you think we're getting ready for some war, you might be right. AfD party has become the strongest party in Germany for the first time in history, according to latest polls, because all the other politicians are bought and sold leftist idiots by jackholes like Klaus, 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 Klaus. We are entering uncharted territory in the global financial system, according to Deutsche Bank. You look at it from afar, it looks like douche bank. Speaker Johnson delays House vote on Trump's big and beautiful budget and tax cut bill before floor vote as the GOP rebellion has risked defeat. Holy crap. Probar Rai Shing. Thank you, sir. India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Cool. I'm into free trade, bro. Make the iPhones free, baby. Thank you so much for your donation, my man. Senate confirms Atkins for SEC. Flugibbity linked to higher infections, according to early research. I put that over onto the old Subscribestar and Locals. Have the MXRV or whatever, the official medical, study. But it did show that those things, well, maybe it's just this year. I'm just reading this according to Fox News, and, it is what it is. But these things are, let's just say that there's many ways to beat the flu, and that might be, you might just want to, President Trump has signed an order revoking Chris Krebs' security clearance and has instructed the DOJ to launch an investigation into his involvement in the election of 2020. We'll leave it at that. United States House passed H.R. 1526, curb the power of district court judges to issue nationwide injunctions against presidential policies aimed at restraining judicial overreach, because it's called Article 2. Get it? Idaho is set to become the first state to ban mandates for jibbity jabs and other medical interventions for both employees and students. Chinese yuan dropped in the weakest level of value since 2007. Taking them old school. Spot gold rose over 1% intraday. Currently, 3107.41 an hour. Oh, wait, what? What's that? What's that? And another $40. Quick. 3120, almost back at record high. Gold closed up 3.3% to $3,082. Biggest one-day jump since 2023. Traders anticipate much more fiat devaluation after all. The trade war is just getting started. And finally, Chinese Amazon sellers warn of price hikes and market exit amid U.S. tariffs. Yes, folks, are you addicted to cheap Chinese crap and products that you can get for your vehicle, your home, whatever? You might want to go and get them now, because I got a feeling this thing is going to play out for a while. Not the rest of the world, but specifically China. I think this whole thing was basically trying to go after China in a roundabout way. Because if you think about it, if he's like, we're just going after China. No, he put them on everybody, and then he quickly removed them. And now China can't say, they're targeting us. No, he did them to everybody first, even if it was just a short time. Well, now, now it's just focused on China. 10% to other people, so that's not too bad. They put all kinds of tariffs on our stuff, so we'll just have to see. I know a lot of countries have come and tried to renegotiate. I think 70 is the count right now. We're just going to have to see where it all goes, but if you're getting the cheap Chinese crap, if you're getting the Walmart's probably got some problems. Same thing with Amazon and others, unless they find mass producers of cheap crap. Maybe India will step in. I know there's been a lot of talk about India coming in and doing iPhones and other production. They have a very large and strong workforce. Their middle class is growing. They could definitely step in, and we have a much better relationship with India. So we shall see. It's just going to have to see where things go because, well, they're going towards a trade war. And again, as Joe Slent said, trade wars become world wars, folks. That's right. So, yeah, the not so great reset. It's true. What's Vlad doing? What you doing, Vlad? How you doing? How's Russia today, bud? Is it cold? What's the temperature? -12? Hang out with a bear? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, we can't read Russian. We speak English, so. But it's good that you speak English. It means you're smarter than we are. Or you just were, have a good translating app. All right, folks, that is it. God bless you all. Thanks so much for being here on the Crashes Report for April 9th, 2025. Hit the buttons and stuff. Darken out the bell. Like. Share it out. Let people know about the most comprehensive news on YouTube. That's right. All right, friends. And who else does voices? You know what I mean? We do voices here. All right, friends. God bless you all. I'm going to go read some Russian. You guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow on the next one.